it's Cecilia, and I'm back with another video in my Let's Get Inky series. I hope you're enjoying the series, and if you have an ink that you're interested in, please let me know, and I'll gladly do a video on it. Tested it on Tomoe River paper versus cheapy paper, or I have other paper. I have Apica CD Premium. I have Tomoe River, I have Jot Books, Lloydstrom, Moleskines. So let me know if you want me to test an ink in my fountain pen series, Let's Get Inky. Today we're here with one called Diamine Syrah. And I am loving this ink. A few weeks ago, I was looking for a good red to start a new project of mine. I am writing the words of Jesus out in a notebook to better understand the words and to get a somewhat different direction in my Bible journey. So I started this project. I got the notebook, which is a Lloydstrom. I'm going to use my fountain pens, and I'm thinking I'm going to stick to a fine nib and do that. I'm writing the words in red out. I tested a few inks, but I'm using Valentine Red by Monteverdi for the words of Jesus in red, and I'm using Monteverdi Midnight Black for the rest of the words, because I want to not just write out his words. I want to write out the words that led up to the verse where he speaks. So on that journey, that's going to be my summer project starting this summer. On that journey, when I was looking for a true red, not a maroon red, not a burgundy red, not a rose red, not a I wanted a true red, and that's what led me to Valentine Red. But while testing, I tested one of my favorite, tried and true for years, GouletPens. I would buy samples. I don't want a bottle, because I have a lot of bottles of ink. So last year, when they were giving away the Monteverdi inks free, I got like 15 bottles of ink. So I didn't want to spend any more money on a bottle of ink. But this summer I ran out of some of the inks that I had in bottles, and I had never gotten Diamine in a bottle. I had a bunch of samples. I had like 5 samples. So I used them all up, and I was like, you know what? Goulet's selling it for $7.50. Let me grab a bottle. It's a small bottle, so it won't take up much room. So it sits here on the everyday ink stand that I have here for the 3, now it's the 3 inks that I'll be using more frequently. But since I started this series with the Organic Studios Nitrogen, I wanted to do the next one, and I decided it would be Diamine Syrah. I inked up my Diplomat Magnum that I got from GouletPens. It's a broad nib. I'm not a fan of a broad nib, but I love this broad nib. Diplomat's Magnum has a springy nib. It actually lays down some ink, like my stub. But at the same token, it's springy. So it's not flex. It has a little softness to it, which I really like. I steered clear of broad nibs for years. I've been collecting since 2012 fountain pens and ink and paper. But I steer cleared of the broad nibs because I wasn't a fan. I definitely, and Twsbi is one of my favorite pens, as you can see from here. I definitely steer clear of broad in a Twsbi, because sometimes a broad nib makes your ink look murky. You know, it's like a little goofy looking, ashy, crazy. So when I inked up the Syrah last night, I decided I'm going to use this beautiful dark red pen And let's see how it works. And boy, does it look different. This side is cheap paper. Like, go get a composition notebook. This is it. I got this free from Apple Pig Leather because I bought his leather travel notebooks. I have like 7 of them. He actually sends these with the covers, and I use them for my own notebooks and what have you, because B6 is this size and it's one of my favorite sizes. This is also white paper versus Tomoe River is a little off-white, ivory, cream. I don't know how you want to describe it. I call it a little creamy, but it's not like Life Nobles, which is dark cream. So, and Tomoe River it happens to be one of my favorite papers. I don't like it in white. I prefer it in cream or off-white or whatever they call this, but there's just such a big difference between cheap paper and Tomoe River paper, which are ink pens. So here we go. There's no feathering, which I was shocked at. At least I can't see it, but my vision's not 100% anymore. But there was no feathering, but it came out nice and dark on this dark white paper. As you can see, you see it's very white, and I prefer ivory, but I love this. Look how dark it came out. Now, when I honestly tested this ink to write the words of Jesus out, I tested it in a Lloydstrom. What I liked about the Lloydstrom Graph Grid notebook is the paper feels slightly different from the dot grid, and I just can't write on those dots. So when Lloydstrom came out with the graph grid, I grabbed one in the A5, and I wanted to use it for this project because it's a black cover, and it's compact. I could take it with me. Here it is. I could take it with me to a cafe or to the park or whatever, and I can write in it, and I have my little pen loop. So that's why I'm using the Lloydstrom to write the words out. But I wanted you guys to see this. If you're on the fence about a bottle of this ink, grab it. It's $7.50 on Goulet's website. And it laid down a phenomenal amount of ink. I was like, this thing is a gusher. I apologize in advance for the handwriting. Look, I'm not trying to win you people over with my handwriting. I'm just trying to show you the difference. Here it is on Tomoe River paper. And boy, can you see how light it is on Tomoe versus cheapy. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I wrote on the opposite side of this paper because I know automatically the cheapy paper is going to ghost or bleed, so I don't care. So I wrote on that. I wrote on the other side. And we all can agree that the cheapy paper is going to have bleeding or ghosting. So I'm going to do that in the cheapy book. But in the Tomoe River book, I'm going to only write on one side so you could see. While there is ghosting, there's no bleeding. Even with a broad nib. I think that's amazing. Even where I went over it, where I made a mistake and went over it twice. That's why I love Tomoe River paper. Now this side, if I wanted to, I can write on it and there would be no issue. There's no problem seeing this side versus what this side will look like. There will be no problem. Even though there's ghosting right now, and a lot of people don't like the ghosting that they see, but the advantage of Tomoe River is it does not affect the other side when you write on it. Like, there will be no, you won't see the real ghosting on this side from this side. So that's what I like about it. People will decide on their own. But if you're on the fence about a Diplomat broad pen, grab one. Again, the nib on this broad is springy. It is not a flex nib, but it's soft. So maybe that's why I enjoy writing with the broad nib on this pen, because it's softer. Usually with a broad, you get a rigid nib, and I just don't like the way it's so wet. But out of all of my Ecos and my Twsbis and my Conklins, or my other fountain pens, I can honestly tell you the reason why I love this Diplomat is because the nib is springy. And the reason why I love the broad is that reason. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it. So, if you're on the fence, I'm highly recommending it. So, thanks for watching. If you have a request, again, let me know. Okay? Bye.